Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
You are listening to the Cricket Corner podcast with me, Vatsal Vora. Hello there. Welcome to the first episode covering the 2024 ICC T20 World Cup, which is taking place in the Caribbean and the United States. Since India just finished their first game of the World Cup against Ireland, it's only the right time to bring you a recap, a review of the game that they just won by 8 wickets against the Irish side. Well, there are so many talking points in this game, but to be completely honest with you, most of the talking points are nothing to do with the game in general. It is more to do with the atmosphere, the pitch, and the outfield and the ground in general, because it has been shocking. It has been shocking the way in which the pitch has behaved, the way in which the outfield has behaved. I think ICC have got it completely wrong here in New York. So we'll start by talking about the game, and towards the end of the podcast, I'll let you know my thoughts on the pitch and the outfield. So it was the 8th game of the tournament. Here in Group A, it was India's first game of the tournament against Ireland. India winning the toss, Rohit Sharma having no hesitations to bowl first, and Indian bowlers was just outstanding, bowling out Ireland for just 96 runs. And from just 16 overs, it felt like one of those games in the 2023 World Cup against the likes of Sri Lanka, where Sri Lanka were never really in the game. They were bundled out for just 60 or 50 odd runs. It felt like this game had a pretty much the same air to it, but credit to Ireland for at least reaching more than what Sri Lanka managed in a one-day international. Ireland, as I mentioned, getting 96 runs on the board. But it was all down to the quality that the Indian bowlers possess in their squad. And also, it's not only the bowling that helped India bundle Ireland out for just 96. It was actually, they were aided really well by the uncertainty of the New York pitch. But as I mentioned, we'll get to that towards the latter stage of this podcast. None of the Irish batters really got going. Tucker scoring 10. There was Curtis Camphor with 12. The only one who can leave the ground with his head held high was Gareth Delaney. He scored 26 of just 14 deliveries, coming down at, what was it, probably number 7, 26 of 14 deliveries, 2 4s, 2 6s along the way. He was partnered a bit by Joshua Little, who scored 14 of 13 deliveries, coming in at number 10. And if they hadn't added a few runs towards the latter stages of their innings, I don't think Ireland would have even managed 96. They could have been bundled out for less than 70, if I'm completely honest with you. But as I've mentioned, the Indian bowlers were right on the money from the get-go. Arshdeep Singh picking up 2 wickets, Siraj picking up 1, Jasprit Bumrah just outstanding, coming in as the first change, picking up 2 wickets, conceding just 6 runs from his 3 overs. He even bowled 1 maiden. Hardik Pandya was the pick of the bowlers as far as the wickets column is concerned. He picked up 3 wickets. Was a little expensive in the grand scheme of things, conceding 27 runs despite he himself bowling a maiden like Jasprit Bumrah did, and Akshar Patel picking up a wicket as well. So wickets were shared amongst the Indian bowlers. The only bowler who did not manage to get a wicket for himself was Ravindra Jadeja, who bowled just 1 over, conceded 7 runs. Now, when you come out to chase just 97 runs, you are never really under pressure, despite losing Virat Kohli early. And that is the first talking point of this particular match. It is so refreshing to see Rohit Sharma open the innings with Virat Kohli. Prior to the World Cup, everyone were talking about it, that if India need to fit in someone like Sanju Samson or Shivam Dube in the middle order or in the lower middle order, you have to open with Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. But from an outsider like me who knows the BCCI and the Indian management doesn't like to take bold decisions, it felt like they'll go with the tried and tested opening pair of Rohit Sharma and Yashasvi Jaiswal, with Virat Kohli coming in at number 3, which would mean that one of Sanju Samson or Shivam Dube would have to sit out of the playing 11. But that wasn't the case, and the first signs we got that India might open with Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli was in that practice game they played against Bangladesh back on Saturday, if I'm not wrong. In that particular game, they had Yashasvi Jaiswal in the squad. Virat Kohli had still not travelled to the United States. Granted, that's fine, but even in that practice game where they had the services of Yashasvi Jaiswal, India still opened with Rohit Sharma and Sanju Samson. There was a very clear-cut decision that it was going to be Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli to open the innings, because if you are going with someone like Yashasvi Jaiswal to open, you could have very much used him early on and tried out the combination along with Rohit Sharma. The fact that they did not do that was a clear indication that in the direction in which Team India were heading in this World Cup, and it is so good to see. It's a sign of it's a breath air amongst the Indian supporters to see a bold decision being made by the Indian management. And Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, yes, it did not last long this time around. Kohli was dismissed for just 1 run from 5 deliveries. So yeah, it didn't happen, but still a long way to go in this tournament. And I'm very hopeful, and I'm pretty sure that Kohli and Rohit Sharma would give India some blistering starts towards the latter stages of the tournament. Having Virat Kohli opening means there's a vacant slot at number 3, and India are going with Rishabh Pant, and I think that is yet another fabulous decision. You need someone like Rishabh Pant who will come out there early and give you quick fire runs, because yes, Surya Kumar Yadav is your most destructive player in this T20 squad, but you don't want him to be facing the swinging delivery or the bouncing delivery when an opener flops, like it happened today when Virat Kohli was dismissed for just 1 run by Mark Adair, if you are curious. You don't want him to be coming in those uncertain conditions. You want him to come when the pitch has steadied, there is no swing in the air, the ball is now a little bit older than expected. That is the place where you want Surya Kumar Yadav. So I really understand why Rishabh Pant comes in ahead of the likes of Surya Kumar Yadav, Shivam Dube, Hardik Pandya, and that is the way to go forward. I think these are the 2 great decisions being made by the Indian management. Firstly, it's opening Rohit and Virat Kohli, and then having someone like Rishabh Pant coming in at number 3. So coming back to the game, 97 runs to chase down. India did that in just 12.2 overs, and it was once again brilliantly held and run chase brilliantly managed by Rohit Sharma. 52 for him of just 37 deliveries, 4 fours and 3 sixes along the way, playing at a strike rate of 140. Unfortunately for Team India, he was retired hurt. He left the ground retired hurt. I don't really remember who the bowler was, but he was struck on the elbow and then on the shoulder and it then went to deep point, to the cover point region, and the catch was taken. Ireland take the review. It was obviously not out because the ball had hit his elbow and not the inside edge. But it felt like that was the reason why he left the ground retired hurt. Now, it could very well be a precautionary call because, as I mentioned, still a very long tournament to play, and you have got a very important game against Pakistan coming in 4 days' time. So you want to remain fit for that. But I feel like that was one of the reasons why Rohit Sharma left the ground. However, it is worth mentioning that when the ball stuck him in the elbow, he didn't leave the ground immediately. He stayed around for a couple of overs after the ball being stuck on his elbow, and he did score 2 brilliant sixes of pull shots, and it felt like that blow on his elbow has not really affected him, but I think it's a kind of an injury which was increasing, should I say. And I've not heard the post-match conference or the post-match interview where I'm sure the presenter would ask him about the retired hurt situation, but it feels like it was much more of a precautionary thing rather than anything else. But you can make these calls when you are just chasing 97, and I think Rohit Sharma and the team management made the right choice to leave the ground because there was not a lot to chase down after that. And he left the ground retired hurt, having scored 52 runs. Surya Kumar Yadav comes in next, tried to play some of his fancy shots, really didn't get going, and was dismissed for just 2 runs. In the end, it came down to Shivam Dube, but he wasn't required because Rishabh Pant scored a magnificent reverse ramp shot over third man as the winning runs. Rishabh Pant was excellent, 36 of 26 deliveries, 3 fours and 2 sixes along the way, playing at a strike rate of 138. At one point in time, it looked very much like he was struggling to get the runs going on this difficult wicket. But once he was settled in, I think he played his few shots and took India home to a comfortable victory. As far as the Irish bowling is concerned, just 2 wickets being picked, and one was the retired hurt dismissal of Rohit Sharma. Mark Adair, as I mentioned, picked up the wicket of Virat Kohli, and it was Benjamin White who picked up the second wicket of Surya Kumar Yadav. So, good start as far as Team India are concerned. They have gotten off the mark in the points table, and they have a very healthy net run rate as well of plus 3.065 due to their comfortable victory over Ireland. As I've mentioned, their next game is the most important clash of them all. It's the game against Pakistan, which will be played on Sunday, the 9th of June, at the very same ground in which they defeated Ireland right now, which is in New York. So, before we wrap this podcast up, I know there was not a lot to talk about the game as well, because in the end it was a very one-sided game which India won relatively easily. I think the major talking point is the pitch and the outfield. Let's get one thing straight. This was not the first time the New York ground was used in the World Cup. There was a game between Sri Lanka and South Africa a couple of days back, which was also played in this very ground, if I'm not wrong. And that game was pretty much the same how it went today in the game against India and Ireland. In that particular game, it was Sri Lanka was batting first and they were bundled out for just 77. In reply, it was the South African side who chased it down with 3.4 overs to go. They did themselves lose 4 wickets, unlike Team India who lost just 2. But it was one of those games which was pretty similar to how the game between India and Ireland was played today. Now, you could understand that. You could give the benefit of the doubt to the ground and the groundsmen and the organizers that yes, it was a one-off game. Things like this happen. Usually, things like this happen once or twice in any ICC tournament, be it the World Cup or be it the T20 World Cup. But when the same thing happens yet again, it is kind of a worry. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking away anything from the Indian bowlers. Arshdeep Singh, Mohammad Siraj, Hardik Pandya and Jasprit Bumrah were excellent with the ball. But the pitch was just so uncertain. Like not only the pitch, it was the outfield as well. It was a combination of both the things which has seen Ireland score less than 100 runs. But the pitch was so uneven. There was uneven bounce throughout the game, not only in the first innings when India were bowling, even in the second innings when Irish bowlers, then the likes of Adair and Joshua Little were bowling to the Indian batters. There were a couple of instances where Rishabh Pant was hit in the elbow and in the hand as well. So it wasn't like the Indian bowlers exploiting the pitch. It was the Irish bowlers who were doing the same as well. However, the quality that the Indian bowlers possess made sure that they would dismiss the opposition for just 96 runs. But it was a terrible pitch. It was uneven. There was uneven bounce. It was too paced. If a bowler bowls short or short of good length, you could definitely get the uncertain bounce. There was one bowl, I think, was it Mohammad Siraj who bowled in the early stages of the game? It just flew over the top of the Irish player, and that was eye-opening. And you cannot have such two-paced wickets in a big tournament like this. It is fun and challenging for the outsiders, but for the players, it's really, really dangerous. Imagine playing on this pitch against the likes of Haris Rauf, Imad Wasim is a spinner, Naseem Shah, Haris Rauf, Mohammad Amir and Shaheen Shah Afridi. That is something which might actually happen on Sunday. Pakistan would just come out there with 4 quicks and Shadab Khan as their only spinner. What would the outcome be when you face quality fast bowlers in those 4? Naseem Shah, Haris Rauf, Mohammad Amir and Shaheen Shah Afridi. That can be a problem. I think it was Harsha Bhogle who tweeted it out as well, that the India versus Pakistan game cannot be played on this kind of a pitch. Imagine if they do play on this kind of a pitch. It could be troublesome. I'm glad that England are not playing any game on this pitch and they are up in Barbados and Antigua or somewhere, because imagine Mark Wood or Jofra Archer bowling bouncers on this kind of a pitch. I think they would break a bone or two, to be honest with you, not to exaggerate a lot, but this cannot happen. I think, yes, the World Cup is taking place in the United States to promote international cricket, to promote cricket in general, but if the pitches are such and the outfield are such, then I think the game would be hampered instead of being promoted in across the Pacific Ocean. That is, it was, as I mentioned, it was not just the pitch, it was also the outfield. In the very first over, Paul Stirling, the Irish captain, had a beautiful cover drive, and that shot was perfection. That was the proper textbook cover drive, made a beautiful sound off the bat, and on any other ground that would have raced to the boundary without any fuss. But surprise, surprise, you are not playing on any other ground. You are playing in New York, a ground hastily built by the ICC, and the outfield is slow, sluggish, that even a perfectly timed cover drive stopped well within the boundary range, and the batsman could only run 2. Granted, there was a third run in there, but when you time the ball so crisply, you expect it to hit the rope. Unfortunately for Paul Stirling, it did not. But yeah, it was just pathetic. I think that's the right word to say. Yes, the pitch was too paced. Yes, the pitch was uncertain. The only way in which you could have scored some runs on this pitch is against the spinners, because there's a little less uncertainty when the spinners are bowling. Yes, when you try to defend, one of the balls might just get off just bounce a bit higher if it hits a particular crack or something. But yes, I think it was the only option to score, and that was against the spinners. If you are facing the fast bowlers, then good luck, because it was never going to happen. So yeah, this was not an ideal T20 pitch. This was not an ideal pitch in any stretch of imaginations. I can give the outfield a bit, I can cut some slack over there, because yes, not all outfields are same, and if you time the ball really well and you apply some power, you could get boundaries, and if you are brave enough, you can get some sixes as well. But the pitch needs to be worked upon before that big game against Pakistan on the 9th of June, which is a Sunday. Is there a game before? Yes, there is a game being played before that big game. There are actually a couple of them played in New York before that India-Pakistan clash. On Friday, the 7th of June, it's the Canadian side taking on Ireland again in New York. And a day later, it's the Netherlands against South Africa. So the New York pitch still has two more matches to redeem itself. However, if things go according to the trend from the first two matches which are being played here, things are looking really, really bleak. But that's all from the pitch talks. In the end, what matters is that India have opened their T20 World Cup campaign with 2 points, and I'm thankful for that. Could have been a banana skin. Ireland side are not just any other side nowadays. They are no longer an associate side. They are proper full member of the ICC who have test playing status, and they recently troubled Pakistan ahead of the World Cup. So you can never take these teams lightly. But I'm very, very happy that India were able to prevail in the way in which they did, and I think the win would give them a lot of confidence heading into that big game against Pakistan. Now, I'm not quite sure what happened with Rohit Sharma. I can read out the post-match interview right here on the podcast. And Rohit Sharma was quoted as saying the following via CricBuzz about his elbow, that is. Yeah, just a little sore. I said it at the toss as well. Quite unsure of what to expect from the pitch. Not aware of what it is to play like on a pitch that is 5 months old. I don't think the wicket settled down even when we batted second. There was enough for the bowlers. That's pretty much what you got to do. So yeah, as we have already mentioned on this and discussed on the podcast, well, it was a pretty uncertain wicket, and Rohit Sharma himself believing in that. But in the end, what matters is he's all right. India have picked up 2 points, and Jasprit Bumrah has picked up the man of the match for that beautiful 3-over spell, conceding just 6 runs. Credit to Team India. Congratulations to them. Hopefully more easy victories like this in the group stage before the actual tournament begins in the Super 8 stages. That is it from me. That is it from this India versus Ireland game. I hope you enjoyed this relatively short podcast here on the Cricket Corner podcast platform. If you are watching this on YouTube, then make sure you are giving me those. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you are liking, sharing and subscribing. If you are listening this on Spotify or Apple Podcast, then make sure you are giving me those 5-star ratings should you think I deserve them. However, for the time being, this is me, Vatsal Vora, signing off. I'll be back at the end of the India versus Pakistan game, so stay tuned for that. But for now, ciao.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.